Hey, while you're in the first 5 seconds of the video, go ahead, like and subscribe.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
At ease. We come out here to teach you so-called black men, you so-called black women, you so-called Hispanic women, you so-called Hispanic men, that you are God's chosen people.
That's right.
You are from the nation of Israel.
That's right.
You are the 12 tribes of Israel. You are not African American. You are not Haitian.
Right.
You are not Jamaican. You are God's chosen seed.
That's right.
And with you being God's children, with you being God's chosen seed, God is your father. God gave you rules. God gave you a code of conduct. God gave you principles that you must live by. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves to you to let you know that you have to wake up to your true identity, because your identity was stolen from you. You went through what is called today identity theft. The so-called white man, which is the Jewish man, stole your identity.
That's right.
They stole your land and put you into captivity.
Right.
They put you into slavery. They stole the land of America from the northern kingdom tribes of Israel, which we call now the Native Americans. You so-called black men were taken from the west coast of Africa and put in slavery by the same man who took your identity. Give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So, what we just read, what's your name again, bro? David. Come closer, David. So, we like to read the book of Deuteronomy, right? The book of Deuteronomy is a book that our forefathers wrote. Our forefather by the name of Moses. When we came out of Egypt, because we was in Egypt over 400 years, in servitude, just like we are in spiritual Egypt today, which is called America. The Bible calls America Babylon the Great. It's been prophesied that Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed by nuclear weapons. If you watch the news, there's a lot of nations that have this capability of destroying America with nuclear weapons. So what we are trying to convey to our people is that in the book of Deuteronomy, it spells out what will happen to God's children for breaking household rules. Do you have children, David? So in your house, you have children. You give them rules, correct? Some of those rules may be what?
Too much.
Too much. Okay, listen to this. Name some of the rules in your household.
Clean up, do your schoolwork, change your clothes, wash your ass, basically how rule that your mama taught you.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, if your children do what you say, what typically happens?
They get rewarded, they get gifts, they get blessings, they get to enjoy life better.
So, in your household, you tell your children, these are the rules. If you do these rules, good things going to happen to you, right? What happens if they decide not to do what you tell them to do?
Get chastised.
They get chastised. What, can you specify what you mean by chastised?
Taking their computers, their phones, making them stay in that room, no computers, no none of that. You probably even make them stand on the wall, put their hands on, chastise them real good.
Okay, so you take things from them, you make them do physical labor. What about whoopings?
No, I never whooped none of my kids.
Okay, you don't whoop your children, right? But there is some parents that whoop their children, right? Okay, now in the Bible, God is the same way. He gives household rules and he rewards you if you do those household rules. But if you break those household rules, he punishes you. In the Bible, those punishments are called curses.
That's right.
You understand? Curses. So I'm going to read Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 again. Read it one more time.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So God is saying, look, it's going to happen to you if you don't listen to me. This is what he's saying. He said, but it will come to pass. Meaning, if you don't listen to me, boy, I'm going to whoop your butt. This is what he's telling to the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We make up the nation of Israel. We are the 12 tribes. So God is telling us, hey, look, if you don't listen to me, this is what's going to happen to you. Read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day.
Because there's a lot of rules. So you have to pay close attention to what I'm saying to you, my son, my daughter, to make sure that you hold your end of the bargain. In order for you to stay in my house, you have to live by all of these rules. He had 12 children. No, he had way more rules than that. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? You ever heard of bylaws, sub-laws? Okay, so when you look at the Constitution, right? You have a main set of laws. And then you have laws that stem from those main laws. Like, for instance, murder. Then you have, what? Vehicular murder.
Vehicular
you have
manslaughter.
second-degree murder. Yeah. So there's different laws that fall under murder. So with the 10 Commandments, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, like, thou shalt love your God and no other God, right? There's other laws that fall under that. You know what I'm saying? It's called idolatry. So what falls under idolatry is also covetousness. Like, for instance, like if you are addicted to, you was smoking a cigarette earlier. You know what I'm saying? That's idolatry.
Bring it
because
out.
You are putting that cigarette over God.
That's
God
right.
says, follow me only. Don't defile your temple. You know what I'm saying? With you now disrupting God's temple, you are putting that cigarette over God. So you are worshiping that cigarette over God. You know what I'm saying? Right. Your punishment is you getting sick, running short on breath. You know what I'm saying? Losing your faculties. Because a lot of things happen when you smoke. I used to smoke cigarettes heavily. I'm 46. I stopped when I was 37. You know what I'm saying? So my asthma got aggravated. Now, right now, today, even today, my asthma is bothering me now. Because my lungs is going through a cleansing process, but in the process of going through that cleansing process, my asthma is being aggravated. You feel me? Hey, brothers, come chat with us, man. Okay, I understand. So look, we're gonna go through these curses some more. Finish reading verse 15.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he said all these curses are going to come upon you and overtake you if you don't do what I say. So I'm going to give you a few of these curses, right? Look at this sign right here. This sign right here. All right. So tell me what you see. What you see on this sign? What's this? This is what? A slave ship, right? So this is a curse that we was going to go on slave ships. Uh-huh.
This is what he's talking about. He's talking about black
This
history.
one, he didn't do nothing to get put on your side. He didn't actually get put on your side. Curse him. He put on the conversation.
Okay. You sure about that?
No, I'm trying to figure out.
All right, so look. So listen, right? Remember what we just read in Deuteronomy 28:15. God said, look, if you don't do what I say, bad things are going to happen to you. Now, all of this stuff that happened right away. This matter of fact, read verse 46 down to verse Yeah, read verse 46 real quick. Listen to this, David.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So God's saying these curses are going to be upon you for a sign. Meaning, you're going to know that you are the children of Israel based on the sign. Just like you don't know that this is Dearborn until you look at the sign. You look at the address, that lets you know that this is 2961 South Dearborn because of the sign. So you know this building, what it is, based off the sign. So you're going to know that you are the children of Israel based off the curses being a sign. You understand? So now listen, read.
And a wonder upon thy seed forever.
So these curses are going to be on our forefathers and the generations to follow. So the slave ships didn't happen to the children of Israel until what? In the 1600s, really in the 1300s. That's when the slave ships, that's when the transatlantic slave trade really initiated in the 1300s. Because first they took us from what? They took us from Europe. You know what I'm saying? And brought us out of Europe, and then our brothers and sisters in the 1400s, they got shipped from this side of the country and went into Europe.
Bring it out!
You see what I'm saying? So this was thousands of years after when the slave ships happened. Now get verse 68. So I'm going to show you that us going on slavery on slave ships is documented in the Bible. Because Moses was a prophet. God dealt with him to let him know, hey, look, I want you to tell the children of Israel for now and for the generations to come what they need to do. This Bible is a handbook. It's an instruction manual on how we should operate on this earth. That's what they say. Basic instructions before leaving earth.
That's right.
Read verse 68.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So God said he was going to bring you into Egypt. When we was in Egypt, again, when we was in Egypt the first time, we was in slavery. The word Egypt is synonymous for slavery. It's just like, look, when you whoop your children, you say you don't whoop them, right? But if you whoop your children, you whoop them with a belt. Now, after you whooped them the first time, you say, I'm going to go get my belt. What are they going to be thinking? Here come a butt whooping. So when we hear the word Egypt, we thinking slavery. Just like if you whoop your children with a belt and you say, I'm going to go get that belt, the thing that they're going to be thinking is, man, I'm about to get a whooping. You see what I'm saying? So God is saying this. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So God is saying, I'm going to put you in slavery again. Read.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
So God's saying when you go into Egypt again, you're going to go into Egypt being on slave ships. So, David, this lets you know that this Bible is real. For centuries, we thought the Bible was a white man's book. No, this Bible is black history. This Bible is revolutionary.
That's right.
This Bible is our records that our forefathers wrote for our benefit. You understand? So God is saying, I'm going to send you into slavery again with what?
With ships. By the way, I spake into thee.
Read it again.
Whereof I spake into thee. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way, whereof I spake into thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold into your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
God is saying, look, I'm going to put you into slavery again by slave ships. When you get to the Americas, you're going to be sold to your enemies. You understand? So we went on slave auction blocks. That's what this sign is showing. So if you had a slave master in Charleston, South Carolina, he's going to say, nigga, 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 sold to Master Harris. What's your last name, sir? Who? Hinton. So that means your forefathers or foremothers was a slave, but the slave master's last name was Hinton. Because you got the same name as your slave master. You feel me? So even you having the last name of your slave master is a curse.
Come over.
Give me verse 48. Check this out. Read.
Verse 48, therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies.
So God said, look, the people who put you in slavery is your who? Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Who did God call the people that put you in slavery? Your enemies. So that means if I'm a vice lord and I'm a GD, are we enemies? No, we're not. We're not ops. Who's the real op? The one who put you in slavery.
Bring it out.
Your enemy. So we fighting the wrong fight. So that means that your slave master, your enemy, he got you confused. He got you thinking, hey, because I'm a Mickey Cobra or I'm an MC, I gotta fight the gangster disciples.
Bring it out.
That's crazy. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, and hunger, and hunger.
So the Bible is saying that we got to serve our enemies for food. When you want something to eat, you got to go to the Jews over here on 35th. Who own that Jews?
Bring it out.
Your enemy. Your enemies own all the stores. You don't own anything. In fact, the building that you stay in, you don't even own.
Bring it out.
Your enemies own that. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, and hunger.
And hunger, meaning you got to serve your enemies when you want something to eat. Read.
And in thirst.
And when you want something to drink. When you want, hey, even when you got to go buy that Hennessy, you still got to go to your enemies for that.
Right.
And for what else?
And in nakedness.
When you want something to wear, that Nike suit you got on, guess who own that? Your enemies. I don't care if you own your own clothing store. If you own your own clothing company, you got to go to your enemies to get the textile, to get the needles, to get the patchwork, the sewing machine, right? To get the branding, exactly. Read on.
And in want of all things.
So God is saying, look, you got to go to your enemies for everything, even for education. If you want to go to the DMV to get your license, you gotta do that. Now, David, you said you spent how many years in the feds? 16. Give me Isaiah 42:22. Hey, how many people is in the feds? I mean, what type of people are in the feds, I should ask? Who? Is it black people, white people? All races, but predominantly who's in there? Okay, let's deal with the state and federal.
Okay, well, state is mostly us, but the feds is mostly Mexicans and whites.
Okay, so mostly Mexicans and whites. But when I look at the statistics, blacks, so-called blacks and so-called Hispanics are the majority in the prisons. Right. So-called blacks and Hispanics are the majority in the prison systems. Do you think that's by accident? That's by design, don't you think? Did you know that these projects were, this is by design. Them making the Dearborn homes, exactly, because it is a project. It's to keep us low, docile, low self-esteem, weak, fighting each other over crumbs. But you know we are the greatest people on earth. The most powerful people on earth. So how do we succumb to this lowness? Hey, you hear something heavy with that Woody Lynch?
Bring it out.
Hey, David, you know something, bruh. You know something. God is going to use you to do something great, my brother. But you guess what you got to do now that you're here talking to us? You got to take action now. You got to take action. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Then we're going to go back to Isaiah 42:22. You got to take action, bruh, because look, these are what? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got some of these buildings that got 9 floors. 9 and 6, right? How many people you think on average is in each building? Let's just say 150. How many buildings is there? 12. So 150 times 12. 150 times 16. That's a lot of people. A lot of people that's what? That's lost. And we gotta wake them up.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.